It's that time. Time to wind down with a drink and an adult conversation with 100 Proof Radio, your weekly 1-hour escape into the world of wine, spirits, and all things beverages. Let's dive in head first into the latest taboo topics related to the unspoken rules of etiquette and liquor consumption, from the boardroom to nightlife and everything in between. Go pour your favorite cocktail and get ready for an unfiltered experience like no other, and join the conversation. It's time for 100 Proof Radio with your host, Je Wesley.
What's up, everybody? Thank you for being tuned in to the 63rd episode of the 100 Proof Radio Show. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
With yours truly, Je Wesley. I am a bartender for over 20 years. I've owned my own club, and I have seen a lot of people make the wrong mistakes. And so I try to confirm and dispel myths, such as what we're going to do tonight with the show of Cocktails and Veterans. Do they sip in the military? You know, what is the drinking culture in the military is what we're going to explore tonight. A major problem facing the military is active duty military personnel and alcoholism. A tragic high number of servicemen and women turn to alcohol to cope, leading many to form a dependence. How do our soldiers manage alcohol? I am curious to know if the stress of being away from their families may drive them to drink, or does the excitement of being away from home for the first time in a new place cause one to drink in happiness? What are the consequences of drinking in the military? So we're going to explore all of this, but right now I'm going to introduce my guest, and I'm going to start with my cousin, Brandon Schaefer, all the way from Chicago, Illinois, on the phone line. How are you, cousin?
All right, how's everybody doing this evening?
Fabulous.
Hey, Brandon.
Excellent, excellent. So tell us what branch of the military you were in, how many years of active service, reserves. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Was in the Army active for 3 years, reserve about 9.
Okay. And so what's your take on this conversation? What comes to mind as you hear about the drinking culture of the military? What immediately came to mind when I asked you to do this?
At first, I was like, "What am I getting into?"
Right. I think that's
What am I like?
Say that one more time, Brandon.
My first thought, I was thinking, I'm like, "What am I getting into?"
Oh, that's what's up. Well, I do know you like to get it in. So did you start getting it in? Because, you know, when you left for the Army, you was all sweet and innocent. So did you start getting it in the military?
Oh, it was prior to me enlisting to the Army.
Okay.
I mean, it was just hanging out with my buddies, having a drink every now and then, a little harmless fun.
Okay, so the military didn't turn you out.
Not at all.
All right, cool. So let's go to one of my guests here in the studio, Mr. Odell. How are you, sir?
Hey, Jay, thanks for having me. Odell Brown. I am actually still in Naval Reserves, 27 plus years, 8 or 9 of which were active duty. I'll be honest with you. I'm probably the oldest one in here, but when I came in '88, that was part of the culture. It's just tossing back, play hard, live, and party hard.
Right. So I want to get into how can you do that, live that lifestyle, and get up and perform? Because, you know, I'm not from the military, so I imagine you have to get up and run all these miles early in the morning. But we'll get into that. So, or exercise or some
PT,
some type of duty,
yeah.
You know.
Good for you, good for me.
Yeah.
So my next guest is on the phone line is Dana Ferris. How are you, Dana?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Dana is our good liquor sponsor tonight. And
Thanks,
so
Dana.
we're sipping on the Whisper Dry at the moment.
Vermouth.
So we're going to come back and have you tell us all about it. But right now, tell us a little bit about yourself, all the way from Chicago, Illinois as well.
That's right. Born and raised Chicago, Illinois. I now reside in California and work with Quality Winery, who brings Fire Vermouth to you. We're a family-owned winery, and we really focus on quality and care of our products. I've worked for the company for over a decade, and my main title really is to do mixology, recipe creation, figure out fun ways to use the brand.
All right, excellent. Well, we appreciate you being with us tonight, and indulging and enjoying the Whisper Dry. So you're going to come back and tell us all about the Whisper Dry in just a moment. But my next guest here in the studio is Miss Annette Christian.
Hello.
New to Atlanta, Georgia, and hitting the scene strong.
Yes, thanks to you.
Doing it, working at CBS 46.
Yes.
You write plays and you're
Yes.
actress at the same time.
Yes.
You do some of everything. So, but right now, tell us a little bit about your time in the military.
I spent, I went into the military because I didn't want to sit at home doing anything. I was in college. I was having, my family was having issues at home, my mom and my dad, and it was taking a toll on me. So my grades were failing after my third year. So I decided to just take time off. I found myself downtown, walking past the federal building. I'm like, the Army. Let me just go in and find out what's going on. I went in there and they suck you right up. They're like, well, why don't you take the test? Yeah. So I took the test. Well, since you took the test, why don't you take a physical? Yeah. So I took the physical. Well, we have a class swearing in now. Why don't you join? So I swore in. So you can just imagine what my conversation was at the dinner table. Because, back then we had dinner together at the table and tell everybody what your day was. So my day was, when it got to me, is, I joined the Army.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You wasn't afraid being a woman?
No, I've always been, I was a tomboy growing up. I might not look like it, but I was a tomboy growing up.
Okay. And so what was your take on this topic as you heard it?
It was very interesting because everyone has a choice in life. So you can either choose to drink or you can choose not to drink. So my choice, because I had family issues, with my dad, he was an alcoholic. I chose not to drink because I saw the effects of what it did to my family.
So did you see people drinking in the military? And so to answer that question first, did you see people drinking in the
most
military?
Definitely.
And so you was never inspired to want to engage, man, it looks like they're having fun. I want to take part of that.
No, because I'm a leader, not a follower.
Okay.
So, I do partake. I do drink wine. I'm a wine drinker. This is fabulous right now.
Okay.
And I do, do cocktails and other little things, but I know my limit. I know when to say, okay, enough is enough.
Okay, excellent. So, Dana, we're going to come back to you. But before we go into this sip break where you're going to break it down, what we're drinking, Dana, which part of the military have most interested you or you find the most interesting?
I guess I'm most familiar with the Army because my brother served for a short time in it. So that's what I have the deepest connection with.
Okay, so which one do you find the most sexiest?
Sexiest?
At least today, probably the Navy.
I'm going to say the Air Force because it's pretty daring to be up there in those planes, zipping around, and the seats.
Excellent. So, Dana, we are drinking the Whisper Dry at this time. So, tell us a little bit more about it as I take another pour.
Yeah, and I'll take some too.
Please do. The vermouth, which is what the Whisper Dry is simply a fortified wine. So, it's a wine. This via vermouth or via Whisper Dry is orange muscat and white wine blended together and then infused with specific herbs and botanicals. And so as you taste this, you'll feel kind of like a freshness, a delicate sweetness. There's almost a dry sherry-like finish to it. And then you get this bursting meadow flavor, kind of fresh after a rain.
Interesting. So when you say fortified, for those that don't know what fortified mean, can you break that down for us?
Sure, yeah. Fortification is a simple process where you basically add a spirit similar to brandy or a grape-based spirit to your wine to bump up the alcohol level. And it also changes the viscosity, the texture of the liquid.
So, Dana, very few people drink vermouth by itself as we are right now. It's normally usually added to something, a martini or Manhattan. So Why do you think that is? Why don't people go to the store and specifically say, I want a vermouth?
Simply put, it's not an American culture. Interestingly enough, vermouth itself was made to be drunk on its own. It originated as a medicine, as a medicinal, for medicinal purposes. And in the European culture, in Spain, in Italy, in France, it's still very common to have a 5 o'clock vermouth. And they put like a couple of olives and an orange in it, and you drink it as an aperitif, which basically stimulates your taste buds, so it opens up your mouth for the sensations of eating, and kind of gets your digestive system going. In America, though, we started using vermouth during Prohibition because it's still legal, being medicinal, and people were using it to dull down and create better flavors for their bathtub gins.
For say that again, for their what?
Bathtub gins, the gins people were making in the bathtub during Prohibition when liquor was illegal.
Okay, like moonshine, is that what you're saying? They're
Similar to moonshine, yeah.
okay. And what was that word again? Tell me one more time.
Bathtub gin.
Bathtub gin.
gin.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, I wasn't hearing what you were saying. So,
People were literally making gin, or what they claimed to be was gin, in their bathtubs during Prohibition, 1930s in America.
all right. So for those of you out there, you can see there's 2 more bottles here. And so we're going to be tasting those too. So be sure to stay tuned. Dana's going to be with us the entire show. Correct, Dana?
Correct.
And so she's going to be coming back schooling us on the rest of this. So let's get right into the conversation here. But I'm going to go off topic once again real quickly. What is the most important branch of the military? Just curious.
The most
Army, of course.
The Army is second to the Navy.
No, I wouldn't go that far.
Thank you.
And I'll
Thank
tell
you.
you
I wouldn't.
why. And I'll
Let's
tell you why.
not do that.
And I'll tell you why.
What-
'Cause
why?
The Navy, we have the ships, we have airplanes, we have the SEAL team, we have all facets of all militaries into one. You all are singular in nature. No offense, but I mean, some people can't multitask.
Okay.
The Army is on the front line.
Yeah,
See, I started some stuff here. So
you sure did.
Oh yeah.
But Brandon,
Oh, yeah.
Brandon, let's go to you. So, can you tell us, as far as, has there been an experience for you personally, or that you witnessed in regards to drinking in the military?
What type of experience?
You know, just it could be good, whereas alcohol brought camaraderie with your team, or it could be that you've seen someone get kicked out. So let's just start there. Have you seen anyone get kicked out of the military because of a DUI or got caught drinking? Can you drink in the military, or are you not supposed to?
I mean, yeah, you could. Of course, you could drink if you're of age. You can drink, and of course, it brings like a sense of camaraderie with you and your team after work to get together at the bar, discuss upcoming events, missions, personal things like back home, things of that nature. And yeah, I've seen my fair share of overindulgence, and it's causing people to get injured at different times, as well as affecting them in their personal lives too.
So, you how old were you, Brandon, when you went to the military? I remember you were quite young.
I was 20 in basic training. I turned 21 in basic training. I turned 22 in the guard tower in the Middle East.
Did you, being away for the very first time, did it cause you to drink? And it could be 2 ways: from the stress of being away, or it's like, yes, I'm away from my family, I got freedom, and I'm enjoying it. Was either one of those the case for you?
Neither, because I'm not a follower. I'm a leader, so I do what I want, when I want, and how I want to do it. But far as being away, far as stress, everybody copes with stress in different ways. Drinking isn't one of my coping mechanisms, so I never really had a problem with that.
Okay, interesting.
You have to do everything you have to do. It has to be in moderation.
Odell, what do you guys say about this?
We drank.
We get it in, though. No.
We drink. I mean, I joined at 18, and my first port was the Philippines. So overseas, as military personnel, you drink with the origin of the place, you could drink at that age. So if you're 18, I mean, you could serve this country, so you should be able to drink.
Right.
And it was cheap. And they served you, and you know, you go out, you have fun with your team, and you always had a battle buddy. But frankly, back then it was encouraged. I felt from the Navy standpoint, but they wanted you to do it in moderation, but it was encouraged, and it was like who could get the drunkest, who would stumble back to the boat, and then you get on the, you know, we would take the little ferry, the rib boats, and get back and see who gets sick. I mean, but it was we're young. So, I mean, it's the freedom from the family, away from home. And I thought it is somewhat of a coping mechanism, you know.
So is it possible that maybe one branch of the military drink more than the others and party more than the other, have more fun than the other? Is that the case by any chance?
I think all branches have the same amount of fun. Everybody get it in.
You look like you don't agree with that.
I think the Navy, only because we're on ships, we pull from port to port. When we do a Westpac or 6-month deployment, you'll hit 6-7 ports. Army, you just kicking dust in your boots.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, so go ahead, and then what you got to say to that?
Well, the reason why Odell says they got it in more because they had more free time.
Yeah.
While the Army
Exactly.
really
That's
doing
fine.
the work.
That's fine.
Exactly.
That's fine.
Right. While they were on the boat, we were doing all the work.
That's fine.
But yeah.
So, and then tell us what you think as far as do you think people drink because of the stress of the military? Let's start there. Like, can the stress of the military itself cause one to drink?
It's not the stress of the military. It's the stress of maybe of your job, your MOS. It's the stress of being away from your home, the stress of being away from your loved one. That's the stress. It's not the service itself. There's something that causes that stress. That makes right, and each individual is different. So you have to look
different
at
triggers.
exactly. You got to look at the different scenarios of everyone's life to determine why they became an alcoholic or why they're drinking.
And I would say from this vantage point that the two Army personnel on board this call, they were leaders. Everyone's not a leader. Someone was following, and that was it for them, a bottle. But you know, some people have addictive personalities,
Right.
and that's how they did it.
But Odell, so you all did it. You've mentioned like y'all kicked it, y'all have fun, y'all got lit. You know, how can you perform the next day? Like this. So, I mean, what happens if you don't get up?
Easy. Oh, we got up. We were young.
Okay.
You remember? You remember?
Right,
could stay up all night.
Hanging
party.
out at the club all
Like
night.
now,
Gotta
10
go to
o'clock,
work.
I'm doing the church tip to get out.
Right.
But that was then. We're 20-something.
Right.
And we're in the Newport. We're in the Philippines, Australia, Singapore, Japan, somewhere.
But is there ever the case where your leaders, your sergeants, who's ever over you, you know, they smell alcohol on you, your breath the next day? Like, do you get in trouble?
Hey, Brandon, you take this one.
Hey, every morning at 0500.
Right.
And so what would happen? Like, you know, if your sergeant
You smell it coming out your pores, and you running hard until you throwing it up.
Yeah.
Exactly. They feel no sorry for it. They don't feel sorry for
But
it.
the thing of it is, you were accounted for. You wasn't missing. You weren't UA. You weren't unauthorized absence. You were accounted for. Oh, that's fine. We can work that out of you.
Right.
But we knew where you were at.
Did anyone ever have a homie that like couldn't get out of bed? You know, so what do? You just leave them? Do you force them up?
No,
you know?
never that.
No.
Never leave your battle
You never
buddy.
leave your buddy.
That's right, your battle buddy.
You never leave your buddy.
You always move as a unit.
Exactly.
You
Wherever
lead,
you are,
you
your
lead
buddy
together,
is
you come
with
back together.
Right.
If you left your buddy, you were in trouble.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah. You always and
That's
they pair
serious.
you up. As soon as you get the basic training.
Even if it's formation, you got to do a run. Guess what? You're gonna fall to the rear of that formation. And it might be two you guys holding your battle buddy up, but you're gonna make it past that finish line.
That's
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So are y'all, ragging them the whole time as you holding them up, running with them,
No, you just
mad and upset?
No,
because he was with us. He was with us the night before.
Right.
So you got you're only strongest as your weakest link. So everybody got to be on the same accord.
So do the next time, do you tell them like, yo, homie, your ass can't drink? Like
you do. You warn them.
Yeah.
like, yo,
You tease them a little bit.
Right.
you done. Like,
You
one
go do
drink,
it
you
again.
done.
And you go do it again.
Right. You warn them. You give them that little pep talk. Look, we got to get up early in the morning.
Right.
So, don't drink as much. You can still have fun.
So, Annette, with you not being a drinker, were you ever ridiculed in a sense of, you know, what they call it, peer pressure to drink, like, you know, or ridiculed or outcasted because you did not drink?
No, because they knew my personality.
Yes,
Once they know you and they know your personality, they know what level, how far to go with you. And I'm a strong-minded woman. I don't know if you can see
She's from
that.
New York.
Yes, I am, upstate. So by me being a strong-minded woman, and I was already disciplined coming into the military. And don't get me wrong, when I got to college and I was living on the dorms, I drank it up.
Right.
You know, I did get drunk. I'm like, but I didn't like that feeling. I didn't like the sickness afterwards. So that kind of taught me a lesson right there. It's like, ooh, I don't like this. It's nasty. I'm throwing up. My first drink was peach schnapps.
Oh, yeah.
And I drank the whole bottle. I didn't know what it
navel.
was. Didn't know. Drank the whole bottle, got drunk, threw up, didn't like the feeling. So again, going through that and then watching my dad go through physical abuse, you know, what my mom, I'm just going to be transparent. Watching him do that, it was like, I'm not going to drink like that because I don't want to be abused and I don't want to abuse somebody. So when they would drink and I might have a glass of wine and that's it, or have some juice and they say, oh, you a party pooper? Okay, call me a party pooper. I don't care.
Right.
And they knew how far to go with me.
Interesting. So that's a good note as we get ready to go to commercial. You all stay tuned. And we have the Causing a Stir segment coming up. That's where you go to Facebook and go to Rolling Out's page and you comment on what's going on here and questions you may have for the panelists. But meanwhile, we'll be right back after this break.
Hey everyone, it is your favorite politician, Representative Erika Thomas, and I'm excited to tell you about the Erika Thomas Show, where we break down news and politics in layman terms where everybody can understand it. We start off the show with hip hop and politics, where we might interview your favorite celebrity and we break down hip hop and let you know that it's the same thing as politics, baby. And also coming up after that, we have kids and politics, where we bring on your favorite kid stars and they tell us all about how they feel about politics. And then right after that is the hit list, where we tell you about the fails of the week. Who failed this week in the news and who do we need to know about? It's all happening at 6 o'clock every single Tuesday. I said 6 o'clock every single Tuesday. So you better tune in. You better tune in. You better not miss it. I mean, you better not miss it. The Erika Thomas Show is on live.
With customizable streaming TV from Xfinity, watch the most free TV shows, hit movies, and live sports on the go. At home, access Netflix, YouTube, and Pandora right from your TV. And with the X1 voice remote, just say it and see it.
Show me HBCU.
With Black Film and TV, watch your favorite college entertainment, HBCU football games, and much more. Xfinity. Simple, easy, awesome.
Hey everyone, it is your favorite politician, Representative Erika Thomas, and I'm excited to tell you about the Erika Thomas Show, where we break down news and politics in layman terms where everybody can understand it. We start off the show with hip hop and politics, where we might interview your favorite celebrity and we break down hip hop and let you know that it's the same thing as politics, baby. And also coming up after that, we have kids and politics, where we bring on your favorite kid stars and they tell us all about how they feel about politics. And then right after that is the hit list, where we tell you about the fails of the week. Who failed this week in the news and who do we need to know about? It's all happening at 6 o'clock every single Tuesday. I said 6 o'clock every single Tuesday. So you better tune in. You better tune in. You better not miss it. I mean, you better not miss it. The Erika Thomas Show is on live.
The camera look a little blurry. All right. Thank you all for staying tuned for another episode of 100 Proof with yours truly, Je Wesley. And tonight we are on our 63rd episode talking about cocktails and veterans. And we're talking about the drinking culture in the military. And so We have several guests here from the military. It seems like it's the Army versus the Navy right now.
No, one team, one fight. Jay. One team, one fight, Jay.
So real quickly, I'm going off subject just a little bit. What do you all think about Donald Trump wanting to add the sixth branch of the military?
Oh, the space program, the space.
Yeah. What do y'all think
Space
about
Force.
that?
Hey, cheers. I don't know. I haven't thought about it. I don't know if it's relative, necessary, but
He doesn't even know what he's talking about.
Right.
He's just out there. He's just trying to.
she said it.
He's just out there. It's, I am gonna. He's an idiot. He's just an idiot. I'm just gonna say it. I'm sure everybody else is thinking it. Everybody else wants to say it. He's an idiot. He has no clue what he's talking about.
Brandon, any thoughts?
This guy, I mean,
Right.
how many curse words did we get?
We
We
got
got
10
12.
left.
Yeah, we got 10 left.
10 left. Some
10 left.
So-
Okay, I
somebody
don't want to
curse
use.
twice.
Well, I'm gonna go for that. So,
Yeah.
but he has no. I'm gonna leave it to you like this because he's still serving in the Navy, so he can't really speak on the president because technically that's still his commander in chief.
Yes.
But I have my DD 214, so I'm out. But this guy has no idea what he's doing or what he's talking about, and he's totally disrespectful to the military. He didn't even show up to the Veterans Memorial at Arlington, nor the one in France a few days ago.
That's true.
Yeah.
So he was saying everything he's wanted. He incites anger and all this other crap, and he always try to
Disrespectful.
put people these disrespectful, and he says everybody else is disrespecting the military, but he does all the time.
Interesting.
And it's ridiculous. The Space Force, come on. But that's what you have when you have a 5-time deferment.
Brandon, you pull no shorts.
That's my cousin.
Yeah, I'm gonna sit right here though.
So, Dana, let's get ready to come to you. And for those of you out there watching, we do have the calls in this third segment coming up soon. So I'm seeing some of your comments. Willie Stewart, I see you. Andrew Snorton, I see you. Willie Stewart, Ted Bear's watching. My Atlanta mom has said, you guys have emptied a whole bottle. So as a result, and we have, and we're empty again. So Dana, we're ready a little ahead of time to go to the next drink so we can get the pouring and get back to this good conversation. So which one are we trying next, Dana?
Okay, so now we're moving on to our Via Extra Dry.
Extra dry. Okay. So I'm pouring as you talk.
Wait, let me just sip the rest of this. Well, hold on.
I stay ready.
This one comes in with a large bouquet of botanicals, mainly sourced from Europe and Southeast Asia. So there's kind of an international influence in the flavors here. And compared to the last one, this one's going to have more citrus notes, more lemony, lemongrass, kind of fresh green plants and flowers. And things like rose petal, if you smell it, you kind of get that bouquet on the nose, rose petal, lavender, linden, and a little alfalfa, so it ends a little bit herbaceous. And this is great over an ice cube with lemon, and it's going to be 17.5% alcohol, so you're keeping it a little bit of a lower alcohol content, so you could have it before a meal, during a meal, after a meal, or through the whole show.
Yeah.
I might need
That's
to Uber
Jay.
going home.
Right.
You know,
So
it's
this
also
is
great in a martini. This is going to go great with gin. This is also going to be delicious in some kind of mixed cocktail with tequila or mezcal. The herbs really hold up to their stronger flavors in the liquor.
so. What is the difference between a wine and a vermouth, Dana?
So this actually, a lot of people do not know this, but vermouth is wine. Vermouth is just a wine, and it's infused with these botanicals and these herbs, and that's what gives it all of these different flavor profiles. And no vermouth is the same. So every single vermouth across the category has different botanicals, different flavors. So you really could become a connoisseur of vermouth, just like you could become a connoisseur of a whiskey or a cognac. Right? They all taste a little bit different, although they start with the same base.
And I can taste the botanicals, the flowers in this one verse more so than the other one. And so what's the alcohol content in this one versus the last one, the Whisper Dry?
Actually, yeah, they have the same alcohol content, which is 17.5%. The difference is the botanicals. There's 12 botanicals in the first one you tried. That's why we called it Whisper, because it's a whisper of botanicals. And the second one's got 20 botanicals, so it's got obviously a lot more, which you can take.
And so with vermouth, is it like it has to stay under a certain percentage of alcohol level?
Well, because it's a
To make
wine,
it
yeah,
vermouth?
they usually come in around 16 to 18% alcohol.
All right, excellent. And so, Dana, if you had your choice to be in the military, you know, if Donald Trump drafted you, which force, and he tells you, Dana, since you're sexy and pretty, I could hear him saying that, which branch of the military do you want to go in? So if you had your choice, which one would you go into?
Okay, well, I've been sold on the Navy through this conversation here. I like the idea that you can do everything. I am a born multitasker, so I'm gonna say Navy.
Thank you, Dana.
Whatever.
Your country appreciates you.
I'm sorry.
Dana, come on. You got to say what Dana.
And so, Dana, any last thoughts on this conversation that you've heard so far? Any thoughts? What's your thoughts on what you've heard so far?
Something that's standing out to me that I really appreciated through this conversation is this idea of leaders versus followers inside of the drinking culture. And I think, you're both really representing this idea of what it takes to be a leader in your own life and what it takes to impact your community in a positive way based on what you've seen. And that really has hit a chord with me, and I appreciate that coming into the conversation. Because that is something, it is a culture, right? Drinking culture. And we get to set an example of what that looks like and still maintain control of our lives, although enjoying a beverage or a wild night out, so being able to come back to baseline.
Right.
All right, excellent. So let's get back into the conversation here. And so let's talk about when you come home from the military. Now, I always get it messed up, and I should have studied this word, PTSD. Did I get it right?
PTSD is correct.
And so tell us what PTSD stand for, because I don't want to mess it up. Post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yeah. And it's real. It's really, as they say, it's really real.
It is.
Could that cause one to drink, once
Most
they've come
definitely.
home?
Yeah, it's a coping mechanism. The biggest thing when you come home is loneliness and lack of connectivity with your friend. You actually miss your team. And Brad, you could probably elaborate on it. Because you have just been, these are people or brothers and sisters who will put their lives on the line for you. That's more so than you say for your coworker. It's a different bond and connection. So you miss that.
Interesting. And so how can what are the prevention measures when suffering with PTSD and to prevent alcoholism?
Counseling helps, but you have to admit that you have a problem.
Exactly.
And
you have to want it for yourself.
The biggest problem with this, admitting you have been built up your entire service career to be strong and invincible, and to self-proclaim that you're weak or you have a problem, especially from a mental capacity, it really touches you, and it's difficult.
Right. More so on a male's point of view.
Yeah.
Because you have more males who suffer from PTSD than females. There are some females who suffer from that, but it's more so the male point of view. Because as women, we are always sensitive and, we can adapt. Whereas men, like you say, they're pride and they're strong. They're supposed to be strong men. They don't want to show that they're weak. Whereas women, we can show that and be okay. We'll get that sympathy. But for a man to do it, they don't want to show that weakness.
Right. Brandon, what's your thoughts on this?
It's definitely a coping mechanism. People deal with stress in different ways. Some people drink, some people eat, some people, it's just a variety of different things. And but they'll tell you as time goes on, the programs and the services that they have for veterans is great. I mean, it's crisis hotlines 24/7 you can use for any problem that you might have. Suicide prevention, they could hook you up with doctors for depression. If you have alcoholism problems, drug addictions, and it's out there to use. And and I know for a fact it's worked for some people that I know.
Yeah.
Does anyone know of anyone that's ever been discharged from, or can you be discharged for alcoholism?
If it gets to a point where it's affecting your job, yes, you can.
Yeah.
Does anyone know of a story or know of anyone that's been discharged due to alcoholism?
So I'll say this much: with the Navy, you can be. We call it ARIs, alcohol-related incidents. You could get in some trouble in the civilian sector that impact your military career. But the thing is, the military is not going to just throw you on the street. They're going to provide. We act, care, and treat. So they get you the care you need, they treat your issues, and then subsequently you would be discharged. It could be medical in nature, because alcoholism is a medical issue or whatever it is. But since the Iraq and Afghanistan war, the military's got serious about treating its veterans. I'll be honest. I mean, there's services like Brandon was talking about. They're serious about helping service member transition back to their civilian lives.
And because of the HIPAA law, it's even better, because before, years ago, they didn't have that. So a lot of veterans, they knew that their information was not confidential. So they didn't want to get that help. So now, because we have the HIPAA law, they know that their information, what they share, is going to be confidential. So they're more apt to go to these programs and get the help that they need.
Brandon, what's your thoughts on what you're hearing here in the studio?
I mean, they're absolutely correct. And glad you came back to me real quick. I actually want to give out that 800 number for anybody that might be listening, that might need it, or could pass it on to somebody that needs it. It's a 24/7. It's the mental health crisis hotline. They can help you, point you in the right direction, anything that you need.
Producers, are we able to put this number in the screen anyhow? All right. So as you're talking, we're going to put it in the screen as well, Brandon.
All right. The number is 888-986-2618, and that's the Veterans Crisis Hotline.
One more time, Brandon.
888-986-2618.
So we're going to show that
24/7, and it's free.
All right. No, I definitely appreciate that. And so with alcoholism in the military, so let's go back to the original question. Have anyone seen someone get discharged because of it? Do you know anyone? Does anyone know of any? And I'm not going to ask you to share it, but have you seen it happen?
I would say yes, but again, it's not for the alcoholism. It's the alcohol-related incidents.
Okay.
Right.
Which
brings you up on charges.
So let me ask you this, Odell. Can you recover once you get that charge? You just mentioned, is your military career downhill after you get that first charge, or can you rebound from it?
I'm going to be honest with you.
Or do you become a target after that?
No, I'm not necessarily a target. But the military has gone to a zero tolerance policy.
Exactly.
Across the board. Because we want the best and the brightest and those who are committed to excellence. So you're out here having these issues, concerns with your personal life. You might not. The military might not be for you. Right. So again, we'll help transition you out and get the right people on board.
Right. They have those random tests.
Yeah.
So you never know when you're gonna get a drug test and it shows up.
And even if I may, even now, we do drug tests, you also blow in the tube for breathalyzer.
Exactly.
So I think I just disconnected our callers. So I'm handing the phone to the producer so she can get them back on the line.
Yeah.
So how does, and that you may have a better understanding, seeing that you may connect with the women in the military, the wives, whether they're in military or not, but they're married to a military man. How does alcoholism impact the family? Have you seen any situations where it's impact the wife and the kids? The husband's in the military. He's the breadwinner. He's making money. Can he not have a drink? Or is he drinking too much? How is it impacting that family? Can you speak to that
most
at all?
Definitely. It's going to impact the family. It's going to impact the wife, because when he comes home, she has to deal with his issues, and then she might start drinking because of his issues, because she's stressed out that he's gone, he's away, she's got the kids she's trying to deal with, and she's stressing out. So she might turn to alcoholism, and both of them, when you got two people that's hitting the bottle, that is not a good sign. It's not good.
House, yeah.
Right. It's a very destructive
House out of
house.
order.
Exactly.
Interesting.
So it could work both ways. She can start drinking because of his stress. She's stressed out that he's gone. So she's going to start drinking because she has nothing else to turn
That's
to.
a different perspective. Like, you brought in a whole different angle. I just want to make sure we have Brandon and Dina back.
Yes.
I'm here.
All right. Apologize about that. So I disconnected you guys. I saw the producer's phone was ringing. I thought it was Odell's phone.
Nada.
It was FaceTime. So I just figured I would just click and bust him out and click answer, thinking it was Odell's phone, but it was this phone. But we're at a point now talking about how does alcoholism impact the families, the wives, the kids. And that brought up a good point. And so, Brandon, I'm going to throw this at you as far as the woman being away. She's not in the military, but her husband is. She's stressed from missing him, taking care of the kids all alone, and it drives her to drink. What's your thoughts on that, Brandon?
I mean, well, when you say that the spouses aren't in the military, they actually are.
Right.
Because when you're downrange, they have to take care of the family, hold it down. Everything that you can't do being at home, they have to do. So it's just as stressful for them when you're out deployed, you're at training missions, things of that nature. I mean, it's just, you got to have their back as well as they have yours. You come home, they got the good insurance, utilize it. And a lot of people think it's a sign of weakness to go talk to someone.
Right.
There's different programs out there. Seek help and make sure you just utilize it. But you definitely have to take care of each other, because if the mother and father, if they're not doing well or sick, whether it's drugs, alcoholism, it's going to drift down to the kids and affect the kids. And you need to have a healthy house.
Exactly, because you don't want that to trickle over to the kids. They see all the issues that's going on in the house, and it's going to affect them in another way. They might turn to something else, drugs, while they're going to school. So you don't want that to trickle down to your children.
Right.
So you need to take care of yourself and your wife before it goes any further into the family.
Interesting. So we're going to get ready to prepare for another commercial, and we want you all to stay tuned because we still have a third drink to try, and I'm already on an empty glass. So
Uber.
So, but Brandon, are you sipping with us, Cuzzo? Cuzzo, you
am.
Okay, cool. So tell us a little bit what you sipping over there.
Remy Martin, 1738.
I knew it was some cognac.
That sounds like you grow hair on your chest.
I went to his house. I don't know. Maybe it was last summer. I can't remember when it was. Probably within the last year. And he opened up some white Hennessy. Where did you get the white Hennessy from, cuz?
The pure white. I think that was Jamaica.
Okay.
That's right. From Dominican, coming back from Dominican.
That's right.
And believe it or not, that was my first time trying it. It was delicious. So Cuzzo was putting me on. But we're gonna go to this commercial break. Be sure to stay tuned so that you can learn about this third vermouth, and we can talk about what you want to talk about in Causing a Stir. So go to Rolling Out's Facebook page and type in your questions and comments there, and we're coming back to you.
Hey everyone, it is your favorite politician, Representative Erika Thomas, and I'm excited to tell you about the Erika Thomas Show, where we break down news and politics in layman terms where everybody can understand it. We start off the show with hip hop and politics, where we might interview your favorite celebrity, and we break down hip hop and let you know that it's the same thing as politics, baby. And also coming up after that, we have kids and politics, where we bring on your favorite kid stars, and they tell us all about how they feel about politics. And then right after that is the hit list, where we tell you about the fails of the week. Who failed this week in the news, and who do we need to know about? It's all happening at 6 o'clock every single Tuesday. I said 6 o'clock every single Tuesday. So you better tune in. You better tune in. You better not miss it. I mean, you better not miss it. The Erika Thomas Show is on live.
What's up, guys? This is Lipstick and Cognac. Starting on Tuesday, you guys will be on rollingout.com and on our Facebook page, giving you all the tea you need for relationships. Here to help you out, man. Make sure y'all tune in from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Want to watch your favorite talk show, Lipstick and Cognac. Here with that dynamic duo. You don't want to miss Lipstick Shadio comics and just Cognac till like it is personality, man. It's gonna be a great time. Make sure y'all tune in. Tune in on rollingout.com. There's ROLLINGOUT.com, and also on Facebook, Rolling Out Facebook, man. It's gonna be a great time. Y'all don't want to miss this. Great laugh, great talks, realness, truth. Man, we ain't race expert. We know what we talking about. So make sure y'all tune in. rollingout.com, man. Lipstick and Cognac.
Welcome back to the 63rd episode of Cocktails and Veterans. What is the drinking culture in the military? And so we're going to come back with our liquor sponsor for tonight, Dina. How are you, Dina? Dina?
Hello.
Hey.
Yes.
Hey, Dina.
Hello.
Hey.
I thought we lost you. So
Oh no, I'm still here.
So we have the sweet,
That's right.
which is what's
Fire
next.
No, you didn't pour us none. You
So
just
as
being
I'm pouring,
You see how the host is?
right.
This is
you
our
being
host.
you
selfish.
get to sip that on up. But see, we enjoying this, Dina. So thank you once again for being a sponsor
Thank you.
for
You're
tonight.
welcome.
But tell us about the sweet. And I noticed that it's darker than all the
It
rest.
is.
It is. Via Sweet is my favorite out of all three of our vermouths. There's a couple things that make it special. So the last two had the same wine base. The Whisper and the Extra Dry both had an orange muscat and white wine base. This one, the Sweet, has an orange muscat, white wine, and a little bit of our port, our vintage port, is added to it as well. So it gives it a lot of texture and kind of that cola-ish flavor. Then we use totally different grouping of botanicals in this. So you want to think of like Christmas time or baking spices. It's got nutmeg, clove, wild ginger, cardamom. So it's like really warming. And this reminds me of my grandma. It's just super nostalgic. It makes me want cookies.
In time for the holidays.
Exactly. Thanksgiving is
right.
right around the corner.
And I love enjoying this with just a little bit of sparkling water and an orange peel. It makes an easy sipper any time of year. And then, of course, the sweet vermouth is going to go more with a dark liquor, so it would be nice in a Manhattan with a whiskey or a rye. And there's just a lot of fun applications, a lot of fun low alcohol applications you can use this vermouth with.
So I heard us mention some spices, and I can definitely taste it here. So, and you've mentioned cooking. So, is it common for people to cook with vermouth? Is this a hidden secret that you can use to cook or bake with?
Yeah, definitely. Vermouth is a great wine to make any basis for a sauce with. It's also really good. I like to marinate, like in Thanksgiving, marinate a turkey in this sweet vermouth. Also, you can make different dishes, different soups, different dishes. It's also good. Vermouth is also good paired with different meals. So it's really gonna go nicely with any kind of meat, really.
So, Dana, I've never heard anyone go into a restaurant and say, I would like a glass of vermouth. Would that be out of order?
Not at all. Like we were speaking of earlier, that's actually how vermouth was created, to be enjoyed on its own. So, I mean, slowly but surely, we're inching our way in American culture to introduce people to that concept. But I encourage you to go and ask for vermouth. And, of course, I encourage you to ask for Via. But it's gonna it's gonna prepare your palate for whatever you're gonna eat. You know, sometimes we have a cocktail before our meal, and that's great and it's tasty, but the hard alcohol really numbs down your taste buds, so it makes you less able to enjoy the food that you're ordering. Vermouth's not going to do that. It's going to help bump up your taste buds so that you can really get all of the flavors.
So let me ask my guest here in the studio with me. You know, which ones have been your favorite? Let's start with you.
Definitely this last one is my favorite.
So what was your second favorite?
The first one.
The first one,
and
the
then
Whisper.
the second. I like sweet wine.
Okay.
So this one right here, ooh, I don't smoke, but I want a cigarette.
There's always something with the image of smoking and with a nice cocktail.
Oh my goodness, yes.
So Odell, what's been your favorite so far?
You know I'm gonna be different from her. So
of course.
Number 2, then the last one, the sweet, and then the first one. But in particular, the second was my favorite.
The extra dry.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So for me, and we all have a different palate. So Dina, for me, the first one, the Whisper Dry, was my favorite.
Okay.
The second one, the extra dry, was my second favorite, and the sweet is my last favorite.
You don't like sweet?
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
Dana,
I mean, I like them all, but the sweet, I don't like sweet.
You know what?
drinks.
Most women like the sweet.
Right. This is like on a level of a Moscato. For those out there listening, the sweet vermouth is on the level of a Moscato.
Yep.
And somebody on my phone, I hear some dishes going on in the background. Somebody loading the dishwasher. But you was going to say something else, Odell?
I would probably add a little ice to it.
Okay.
For me.
Yep.
But
It should be enjoyed over ice.
Yeah.
You want to chill it down, get a tiny bit of dilution.
Yes, a tiny bit you can do.
So
There's
your
some ice in the
instincts are
freezer.
right.
Can you grab us a cup of ice, Tanasia? Thank
Ice
you.
cubes
Yep.
would be nice.
So we're going to get some ice so we can enjoy it over ice. And we still have like maybe 12 minutes left. So we're going to do a round of our Cause and the Stir segment. So we're going to acknowledge those people that tuned in. And so Willie Stewart, Tampa, Florida, is in the house. He says United States Marine Corps. Who? Y'all got silent on that. I heard crickets. Y'all not okay. Y'all not gonna get a break. No love.
Okay. Hoorah.
Hoorah, yeah.
Hoorah.
Andrew Snort, my friend.
Well, happy belated birthday to the Marine Corps.
Andrew Snorton says another good topic. So let me ask. I think I heard this somewhere on the because Veterans Day was yesterday. So let me say happy
It's
Veterans
actually
Day.
Sunday.
It was Sunday, yes.
And
Thank
observed
you.
on
And
Monday.
Observed on
Yes.
Monday.
Right.
Happy Veterans Day to all the veterans. So
Thank you.
I'm glad
Thank
I
you.
remembered
Thank
to say
you.
that.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we appreciate all the service that you do for the country, keeping us all safe. But I think I heard the Army, like, do they have like a call?
Hoorah.
Yeah,
Is that what it is?
Hoorah.
Hoorah.
That's our call. Hoorah.
Okay.
Right, Army?
Hooyah.
Who?
Yes.
So I thought I heard that. I'm like, okay,
Oh,
I've never
yeah.
heard that before.
I'm
Willie-
sorry, does the Navy have a call? What, do you have a call?
Yeah, this is the call. We're number 1.
y'all play football against each other quite often.
Really?
Who,
Yeah, we
who has
do.
the best
Next
football
month.
team?
Of course, the Army.
This year we are as
Black and gold, baby. Black and gold.
this
All
year, and they
all
think,
day.
and at one point we won 12,
Nice.
12 in a
Army
row.
nice.
But it's good fun. But at the end of the game, we all come together.
Exactly.
One team, one fight.
Exactly.
All right, so
we
when
all
do you-
fight for the same
Is
thing.
it coming up soon? Where y'all-
It's like always the second Saturday of December.
Okay. Interesting. So let's come right up. So Willie Stewart say, do you feel like enough is being done to help our discharged brothers and sisters who leave and deal with substance demons on the outside? Is the VA system doing all it can? Why don't more of our brothers and sisters run for political office to try and effect change? Brandon, I'm giving that one to you.
Well, I could say that the VA is definitely getting better as time goes on. They're getting better, and so, like I said, there's a lot of different resources that you can get out there and utilize. But you have to want to get it. You have to want it for yourself. I mean, I know I've talked to some guys recently that I ran into at a VA hospital that said he was homeless. Yeah. But then, and different things that was going on in his life, but there's absolutely no need for him to be in the situation that he's in. Exactly. So he took it upon himself to get there to utilize the services. It's out there if you want it.
Odell, what do you have to say about that?
I'm going to say this. Remember when we were kids? Oh, I'm from Chicago, well, South Side, and it was always that
Odell and I used to work together at the Chicago Housing Authority.
He was wet behind the ears back then.
Yeah,
oh my goodness, really?
But to my point, back in the day on the South Side, you go to a liquor store, it's always that some man out there begging. You're like, oh, he's crazy. As opposed to say, hey, let's get him some help.
Right.
So I think, the VA could do so much, but it's also incumbent upon us, as we see in the military, the Navy, we talk about bystander intervention. We step up. But also family members, try to navigate and work with that individual, get some services and some help so they can be successful in their transition from the military to their civilian lives.
Exactly.
Interesting. So Willie Stewart asked a question he says, I'm a 100% disabled Marine Corps. And I challenge all of you, my guests tonight, to go and chime in and answer and be part of the discussion online. He says, I'm a 100% disabled Marine Corps veteran, and I have always been the designated driver, but I see many suffering. What do you think he means by that? I'm going to read it one more time. I'm a 100% disabled Marine Corps veteran, and I have always been the designated driver, but I see many suffering. So I'm thinking before he became disabled, he was the designated driver for those people that did drink when he was in the military, and he's seen the suffering of them.
That's so very vague and ambiguous. Suffering of what?
Right. So Willie Stewart, if you're still out there, if you're watching, give us a little bit more detail there. So we're going to go to Ted Bear. He said, West Palm Beach, Florida, in the house with my cognac on deck. That's what I'm talking about. Yes. Appreciate it. And so he also says, they sell these drinks at Applebee's. I came with my cognac. Okay.
Good for you.
Good man.
Okay.
Reginald Bell says, way to give people some good insight. All right. I see Tessa Taylor watching.
He's a police officer from Chicago. Cheers, Reggie.
All right. Was that the one who died in Robbins?
No. Reggie's still kicking and serving the citizens.
Oh, you know who this is?
Reggie Bell. Yeah, he's out there helping the citizens of Inglewood. I think it's District 6 or 7.
Sixth District out there. Be safe out there, brother.
Yeah,
good
be
stuff,
safe.
Good stuff.
All right. So Willie Stewart says, wait till you get out and have to deal with the VA system. In spite of this supposed help in 2013, let's finish his. The VA released a study that covered suicides from 1999 to 2010, which showed that roughly 22 veterans were dying by suicide per day, or one every 65 minutes.
He's correct. Let me just say this. That's right. But the thing of it is, each VA center or clinic is not built the same. You know what I mean? Like here in Atlanta, there's robust. They have services and here to help. But if you in Wyoming somewhere in a more rural town, you might not get the services that you may need. So, but by and large, like Brandon said earlier, the VA is getting better. Right. I think they're really getting better.
You just got to reach out to the correct VA. Just because you're in another state, you can reach out to another state for the help and the assistance that you need.
All right. And so we got Cornell Brown says, you looking good, cuz. That's your people.
That's my people. ICB.
Tiffany Davis says, happy Veterans Day.
Thank you.
Once again, the number for help is 888-986-2618. And Ted Bear says, damn, that's crazy, Willie. And then Joey Higgins says, hey, Senior Chief Odell Brown,
That's
Master
my
Chief
guy.
Higgy is watching.
Yeah, he's an E9. I'm an E8, so he's watching. Hey, Higgy.
All right, so we are going to go real quick into our On Fire segment. Mass shooting at the California bar. Did you all hear about this? Thousand
Yes.
Hills, Thousand
Yes.
Oaks, California.
Exactly.
Brandon, what's your quick thoughts on hearing about that?
I mean, it's always tragic when innocent people lose lives like that, and it's very unfortunate that the Devil Dog ended up was a part of the incident. I was quite surprised when they said it was a Marine Corps veteran that did it, but everybody deals with things differently. They came out later on and said that he was suffering from PTSD.
Yeah, typical.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just hard to see one of our brothers. Like, we joke around amongst the different branches, but at the end of the day, we all bleed the same blood.
Yeah.
You know, we out there for the same, fighting for the same cause, and it's hard for what we fight for freedom and justice, to see that one of our own, ended up doing something like this. So it's terrible. But, once again, utilize the programs that they have for us, utilize that number and just get some help. And even if you aren't in the military and you see these different signs, reach out to the VA yourself or to call this crisis hotline and get your people out there. The military, we say, police each other up, meaning look after each other.
Right.
All right. Odell, you want to add something real quick to that?
Oftentimes, because of bureaucracy, they don't, service members don't want to be involved with the VA. So there's other nonprofit organizations out there. There's VFW, the American Legion, DAV. There's other opportunities to get help, not just, or to even the fellowship with fellow veterans, because that's what we all miss and want, is that connectivity with those who experience the things we experience.
Right. And I'm a part of American Legion. Back in Buffalo, I was the adjutant for the American. Yes, I was.
Boy, the standards in Buffalo
wow,
are high.
Wow.
We're gonna let
are very high.
Right. So we're gonna hold on that one, so we can go to another hot topic in the beverage industry. This week in Atlanta, Georgia, or I should say last week with the elections, the residents in Georgia have voted on the brunch bill. Yay!
Yeah.
Yay!
That is awesome.
So what that means
I'm
is
pro-brunch.
we can drink earlier on Sundays at restaurants. Before we had to wait to noon in order to drink, but now we can drink at 11 a.m. at a restaurant bar here in Atlanta, Georgia. So I am the president of the Atlanta Nightlife Alliance, and I was very instrumental of getting that bill passed. So I'm super excited.
That's
and so for the sake of time, I won't ask you all for your opinions on that, but for our hotspot
Job well
segment,
done.
Thank you. We normally talk about what's going on, what you have going on, but we're going to move real quickly into what are your final takeaways? What do you want people to take away from this conversation tonight? And Dina, we're going to start with you on this. We're going to pull you into the conversation right here real quickly.
Great. Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway is there's a lot of support available. So take it. I mean, I really learned that in listening to all of you speak about this issue and what's going on.
All right, and we're going to come to the inside the house. Annette, what's your last takeaway?
My last takeaway is let your pride down. If you need help, the help is out there. Ask for it. Don't give in to peer pressure. Don't give in to all that. Be a leader, not a follower, and ask for help if you need it.
All right, and just to acknowledge real quickly a few people that's tuned in online. Kenyatta Peak, she says, "Hey, big bro."
Hey.
Kenyatta Peak also
We went to elementary
says,
school together.
"What's going on with the
Oh, that's my
500,000
sister. I'm
backlog?" Post, how you not know your sister?
It's the drink, sis.
Clayton,
Well, we don't call it that.
Clayton Jones says, "I see you, Dale."
Yeah.
She says, "Germany in the house."
Right.
Now, I wanted to get into the aspect of going to different countries. Do that cause you to drink as well? Experience a new place, but we're out of time.
Yep.
But Odell, real quickly, tell the people what's your final takeaway.
In the Navy, we say act, care, and treat. That is to act, get involved, care for the individual, and make sure they get the treatment they need. Act.
That's pretty much the Army as well.
All right, and so Brandon, what's your final takeaway?
Don't be scared to talk to someone. use your words, let it all out, seek treatment if you need it.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right. I thank all of you all for being part of my show tonight. Dana Fairs, tell people where they can find Via Vermouth.
The best place to find Via is by going to our website, which is quaddywinery.com. And from there, there's a store locator. You can enter in your zip code, find out where to get the product, and also all of the links to our social media so you can stay involved, get recipes, and follow what we're up to.
All right. And Annette, real quickly, where can people find you at?
They can find me at Instagram, Songbird055, or Facebook, Annette Christian.
Odell?
Classified. No, seriously, IG Daily Dell
Sounded like Trump there
69
for a moment.
and Facebook Dell Brown.
All right. And cousin, where can they find you at?
Facebook, Brandon Schaefer.
All right. And that's SCHAFFER. Did I get it right, Cuzzo?
Correct.
All right. And so I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in to the 63rd episode of 100 Proof, all about cocktails and veteran salutes.
No, I'm doing this.
He's taking a whole bottle.
Navy Pride. Navy Chief, Navy Pride.
Happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there. Be sure to follow me at Cocktail Crun #1, and be sure to tune in every single Tuesday from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. We were a little bit late tonight, so my apologies for that. We had some technical difficulties as we are utilizing a new camera system. Always, we keep it 100 here on 100 Proof, your leading source for beverage industry news.
Thanks, Jay.
Thank you.
Appreciate the invite. Thank you.
Thank you.